many times have you talked yourself out of creating something because you didn't feel good enough? You didn't feel ready enough. You didn't feel confident enough. And what if that mindset is the very thing that's keeping you stuck? So today, I want to talk to you about, and I want to show you how to stop overthinking and work through your fears long enough so that you can start showing up for yourself and you can create using your gifts and show them to the world. And even if you're not ready to show them to the world, it's more therapeutic for you than you realize. So let's go. So, what do you do when you feel like creating something? Whether it be you feel like writing, or you feel like taking a photo, you feel like recording a video, but nothing comes to mind. Your mind goes blank. All of a sudden, you don't know how to work a camera. All of a sudden, you don't know how to write. You know, when you're staring at that blank page, that blank screen, or you're just playing around with your camera, you want to take a picture, you want to share your photos, you want to share your art, but you don't know where to start. So what do you do when you feel like you have something to say? You feel this urge or this desire to create, to take a photo, to make a piece of art, to even cook something new, something as simple as cooking something new and perhaps sharing it with your family, or getting here on YouTube, creating videos or creating content. What do you do with that when you're staring at a blank screen or a blank page, or you have your camera that you don't know how to operate? The urge to express ourselves creatively is there, but so is the doubt and fear of being enough. What if I'm no good? You wonder. So what do you do? Do you go and sit in the corner somewhere and say, oh, well, forget about it? For most of us, that's what we do. We spend a life in desperation. We spend a life not really expressing ourselves creatively. We've kind of left that in the past. We see it as kids play. So do you sit in the corner and you wait for inspiration, or do you go and pick up your journal, or go and pick up your camera, or do you just do the thing? Because here's the truth. You feeling ready, you waiting until you feel ready is a trap. You will never feel 100% prepared. And if you keep waiting, you will never start at all. You know, I told you last week that I started a new job recently and I'm still in training. So I got a new trainer yesterday. And the trainer told us, because we were talking about being nervous, you know, when we are released from training. The trainer shared with us that no matter how many different classes she starts to teach, she is nervous and scared every time she starts, and she never feels ready or prepared. So I thanked her for her transparency, because it feels good to know that I'm learning from someone who have the same fears that I have. I'm learning from someone who has the fear of showing up, but yet she chooses to show up anyway. Just like today, I didn't feel prepared to do this video, and who knows how this video is going to turn out. But so what? I have something to say, something to share that I feel that someone needs. So I'm here. Here's the thing. You will never be able to show up for yourself if you are waiting to feel confident, or if you are waiting to feel 100% ready. Rarely, if ever, do we feel 100% ready. And that's okay, because showing up, even in spite of you not feeling ready, is the key for you breaking through those creative blocks that you have, breaking through the doubt and the fear. Think about it. Whenever you were afraid of something, or you felt like you were inadequate in some way and you started anyway, you always tend to feel better once you are in the thick of that thing. Once you get started and you get in motion and you start to do it, and you say, this is not as bad as I thought. I don't feel as bad as I thought I would. So get started. That helps to push through the doubt. Action is your answer. Think about this. How often do you show up for your job even when you don't feel good, or even when you feel uninspired or unmotivated and you're not even sure if this is the job that you should be in. How often do you show up for that? So why not let us treat our creative pursuits, our creative expression in the same manner? Because they are just as important. Because after all, they are a part of you. You don't have to view your creativity as just a hobby. I say is treat creativity as a necessity. We talk a lot about self-care and all of the things. You can view your creativity as a form of self-care. And we all know that self-care is not optional. Not if we want to perform optimally in our life. Not if we want to be at the top of our game. Self-care is not optional. So neither should your creative expression. It shouldn't be an option. It shouldn't be something that you can just put on the shelf or put in the corner and say, oh, I'll get to it when I can, because that's often how we treat our creative expression. I'll get to it when I have time. But what if we were to flip that mindset? What if we pencil in some time to express ourselves creatively? Just like we put everything else on our to-do list, put that on your to-do list. Because believe it or not, your creative expression is an outlet for your spirit. It's an outlet for your soul. It's a way for you to express the inner goings on of your life. It's a way for you to express that. And it's also a way for you to share your unique perspective with the world. Often, our experiences, our creative abilities, the gifts that we have, they are not just given to us for us to hoard them and hide them and keep them to ourselves. They are for us to share with the world so that the world can be a better place, so that somebody, somewhere, and just think about it, so that some person can be a little bit better off because you are here, because you decided to show up. And so whether or not your creative expression pays the bills, which would be nice, would be a wonderful thing. And that can happen also. That's possible. It pays in fulfillment, growth, and joy. You'll be better for it when you start to show up for yourself and you start to express yourself creatively. And you got to start before you're ready. I know you keep hearing this, start before you're ready. It's a true thing, but it's so hard to do when you feel like you're not ready, or you feel inadequate. You feel like you're not good enough. But the only way you're going to get good enough is to start, because the fear of imperfection is a powerful thing. And so you always wonder, what if I'm not good enough? What if no one cares? So what? If no one cares, you care. And you care long enough until someone does care. Because you first got to start caring about what you're creating. And you first got to start believing in what you're creating before anyone else can. And because if you wait around on being perfect, you may never create. Turn on that camera, open that notebook, start that podcast. Whatever it is that you've been thinking about creating, get started. Even if you are unsure of the outcome, because we can't be sure of any outcome. All we can do is just start. I talked about this in the video last week, I think, about releasing the outcome, but enjoying the process. And I put that video somewhere. I put a link, or I'll put that video so that you can check that video out. Let your imperfections guide your growth. If you don't like what you see, you can always improve. You can always improve. There's always room for improvement, even when you think you're perfect. But you can't improve if you never start. So here's a challenge for you. Treat your creativity like it's necessity. Create as if your life depends on it. Because in some ways, your life does depend on it. Because you may be a happier person, a more joyful person to be around once you start to release your creative expression. Create time for it, even if life feels overwhelming. And often that is the best time for you to sit down and turn on that camera or get your journal out, take a picture, dance, or whatever it is that you do, cook, whatever it is that you do, it's therapeutic. So use it as such. Don't let life get too overwhelming that you don't have time. Push through the doubt, the fear, and the excuses because they're going to be there. So push through them. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Because this is what you need to know. If you keep suppressing that urge to express yourself creatively, it's not going to go away. It's just going to get louder and louder and louder. And you're going to feel more and more of an urge to create something. And so it's up to you to honor that urge. It's up to you to honor your gifts and your creative abilities. And trust me, we all have something. We all have something creatively to share. So that's your challenge. Show up for yourself today. Write that blog post. Create that video if that's what you want. Write that song. Write that poem. Write that book. Whatever it is that you want to do to show up for yourself. Not because you feel ready, but because you are ready enough.